Brock. Boom! Welcome to another episode of the Going Over podcast. It is I, your neighborhood-friendly coach, trainer, promoter extraordinaire, and 44-year-old professional wrestler, Zack Primetime Reeb. And I'm joined alongside my podcast partner, as always, the 7-foot wrecking ball, Paul Isadora. Paul, what is up, my dude?
Oh, not much. I mean, I'm just having a great day so far, man. I was just telling you before we started recording, just having an amazing day. We had got back to training last night, so that was awesome. That just kind of reinvigorated and reminded me about my love for pro wrestling. It's just like, I don't know. I'm the hands-on guy, man. I just want to get in there and stop something from happening and go, let me show you what I'm talking about, so you can kind of see it, so you can hear it, feel it, all those different things. So jumping in the ring and wrestling around with everybody last night was awesome. And then on my way home, I was talking to Larry a little bit about sponsors, and then I was talking to you a little bit about just getting back to training. So it has been an awesome uptick in emotions. And then I was going, man, we should probably do something like the matinee show pre-show training. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to reach out to Ugly, see if he'd like to take part in that, since he should be coming down with his guys. And I figured I'd just have to ask you and you'd say yes. So I was like, all right, well, we can get something similar to what's going on there. So that got confirmed. So about 11:30, we'll 11:30 to 2 or 11:30 to 1:30 or so. We'll have a couple hours where you and Ugly can run these guys' dicks in the dirt a little bit, run them through some stuff. So I don't know, man. It's just kind of continuing on what we're excited about this year, in pro wrestling for the West Coast here. So opportunity for guys to get better, and that's really what we're after. And then finally, I got some, on the shoot job front, got some exciting news about getting a promotion. So excited about that as well. So all of those things. I just realized I'm sharing that right now on the podcast before I've told my family about the promotion. So.
Well, you told me before the podcast and before the family, so I feel special. Congratulations.
That's it, man.
On the job, freeing you up a little bit on the weekends so you don't get any more of this FOMO, the fear of missing out, the FOMO for the homo. Man, it warms my heart. I'm glad you're back at it, because remember this, if you never quit, you never fail, man. And sometimes we fall off track. But we always have to remember, no matter what happens in life, if we just keep going, man, whether you're injured, whether just life's just digging you down to rock bottom, or you're making some personal mistakes, no matter how bad life gets, just keep doing what your goal is, so that when you come back, if you take the break and come back to it, you got to start all over or start where you stop. So you might as well just keep going through hard times, because you're either going to be okay or you're going to be dead. And love working with Ollie. Hopefully Ollie gets in the car and comes down, man. I'm really going to push that towards him too. I'm going to give him a call right after this podcast and be like, hey, coach, there's going to be a bunch of wrestlers in Carson City, and there's a great barbecue place afterwards. Because Ollie always says, hey, man, we got to get to that Applebee's or that fucking – we got to get to that Chili's. We got to, yes, we do. As a matter of fact, I got a brand new, I was telling them, pineapple barbecue, Hawaiian barbecue spot in town. The lady treats us well. If they're not there, that's because her and her old man walked home just around the corner to beat the shit out of each other. And then they're coming on back. They already let us know about that. But hey, Ugly, I'm ready, because Zach Reeb, he's a great Scottie Pippen. Zach Reeb is the best. You ask NorCal. Zach Reeb is the best Scottie Pippen in town. You know what I mean? No, looking forward to that. I just wanted to reiterate from last podcast. when we're talking about tag team wrestling. I just quickly wanted to reiterate what I was talking about because I know my explanation was long because I had just started explaining it. But what I'm saying is for the baby face, and you can make 2 hot tags, whatever, however you're going to run it. But for the baby face on the outside holding the tag rope, they're tagging in, and the baby face who's in the ring, getting out of the ring, making the tag, he's just holding his hand out. Whatever, if he's got a front chancery, waist lock, or whatever he's got, he's holding his hand like this. We need the crowd to see the baby face on the outside tagging in, because the psychological importance of the hot tag that you're building up is the baby face in the ring is desperate to get out. And that's, we don't want the audience to see the baby face holding their hand out like this before it's time. So if you're tag team wrestling, if you want to be a tag team wrestler, just take that little note right there. There's so many cool things we always talk about tag team wrestling. This is something that I've asked a lot of people, and they never were like, they had all the other answers, but not this. So if you're on the outside, you're tagging in when the heat starts and you want that tag and you want to get that audience behind you. You can still bang on the buckle, run down the apron, do all that good fiery stuff like you want to get in there, but make you turning your arm over and extending it as far as you can. Make that the one time that the audience sees that in the match, so they know this guy's in trouble and I want to tag in.
That's it, man. It's a good clarification. So hopefully that makes it, super duper clear for everyone who's watching. And, and I think it's, you might say, oh, well, I'm not a tag wrestler. I only wrestle singles, but at some point you're going to get teamed with someone, right? There's going to be some sort of situation where in your one-on-one match, someone potentially interferes and maybe that sets up a tag match. So all these little nuances are super important for everyone to know, regardless of your normal place on the card or your normal type of match structure. I always talk about like me with, I wish I would have taken, chain wrestling a little bit more seriously, but I always had that mindset where, oh, I'm a big dude, I'm not going to do a whole lot of chain wrestling. But when it gets down to the time where now I can, share my knowledge and experience, now I'm going, well, shit, man, I wish I would have known a little bit more stuff where I can show people, what all the different chain wrestling stuff looks like. I'm always, I always watch Ugly's videos of all the different stuff of how to escape and, how to get into different holds and things like that. And I'm like, damn, man, I wish I would have done a little bit better job of being a student of the game when it came to chain wrestling, even though I'm probably not going to use it in a match myself. It is definitely beneficial to kind of, from a teaching aspect, to say, hey, you know what, you can go from this to this, or hey, this is how you can escape this. This is a different way you can escape. Think about doing this if you're working the arm or whatever, things like that. So definitely be a student of everything, right? You're not a tag wrestler, but be a student of that as well. So you can kind of go, hey, when I'm in that situation, or if I see something, I can say, hey, man, this is what I think about this situation. You could have done this, maybe you could have done that, whatever. So be a student of the game regardless.
Yes, speaking of being a student of the game, I was actually pretty pleased with some things I saw on Monday Night Raw from Germany. I know they flipped the championship. Jacob Fatu, Northern California, baby. Jacob Fatu cost Cody Rhodes the WWE championship. And I just thought in my head, he comes back and it's like, no matter how they set up the angle or whatever they do from here, he has directly associated himself, which Cody was the first guy he interacted with, Randy and Kevin, but on that SmackDown when he came back. But I was like, man, he is heading into WrestleMania, Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season. And even after that, he has directly put himself in the path of the WWE championship. And That is the WWE Championship. Whether you go back to Bruno Sammartino with WWF, whether you go back to Bob Backlund, Hulk Hogan, all the greats, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, the Winged Eagle, the spinner belt, John Cena, Ric Flair, whoever you want to associate that belt with, the greatest of all time, he's put himself in that situation. So I wanted to give a shout out, whether he listens or not, to him, because I'm like, man, that's pretty cool that we sit here and we chase the Northern California. Who's the greatest to come out of Northern California to make it? And there's all these names, but then you're like, man, this guy might actually win the WWE Championship within the year, which I thought was pretty cool. I also saw Gunther and AJ Styles, and I saw a very good match with a very creative finish. I don't know if you've seen that finish yet.
I haven't.
AJ said, I'm going to tap you out and in the main event, and he caught him in that calf crusher, and caught him 3 times, and when he finally got him, the Gunther reaches around, and the camera angle they're showing doesn't show him tap out on AJ, and AJ lets go of the hold. So the whole time they're showing this angle, and the ref's like, I didn't see a tap out because it was the one side where the ref couldn't see it, and he tapped on AJ. And then when the match is over, because he turns around and the ref turns to tell the announcer, this thing isn't over, Gunther low blows him, power bombs him, 1, 2, 3, and walks away. AJ's left sitting in the ring, and then you hear Michael Cole go, and we're now being told we have another angle of this shot that we weren't able to see, and it's the perfect angle. They already filmed it, but it was just such a creative finish, tapping out like that, and he lets go, and to see wrestling in the story, and then Bron Breakker going at it with Adam Pearce, and he's a fucking loose cannon. And it was such a good story because not only is he being a loose cannon, he's out in the ring and he's spearing everyone with the rest of the Vision, and Pierce gets in front of him and says, I'm tired of this shit. And he's like, no more. And he gets in the ring, and they just keep doing what they're doing. They're doing the, tsunami splashes and the spears, and he finally loses it, and he gets in Breaker's face, and Breakker turns him, and it's the most believable thing I've seen in a while. He's telling him, don't you ever put your hands up. And they're going at it, and it ends up coming in the locker room. He suspends him indefinitely, the old Brock Lesnar punishment. But Paul Heyman looks at him and says, oh, that was a big mistake. And Adam Pearce says, you goddamn right, it was a big mistake. And he goes, no. I mean, for you, that was a big mistake. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, because you put your hands on Bron, you put your hands on him first. And he goes, good luck. And he walks away, and I'm like, my goodness. And we go back to when Gunther tapped out John Cena, and we don't talk a lot about WWE and stuff. I was just pretty excited about some of the stuff that happened overseas when I saw it. And I remember that cold ass line where Michael Cole said, tonight, professional wrestling destroyed sports entertainment. And now as I slowly start to see this evolving along, I'm like, that all the talk of the head injuries and this and that, and being more safe, it's like, I'm excited, man. Let's get back to what we all fell in love with. And it doesn't mean we can't be with the times, and because that's what football, that's what baseball, that's what basketball, that's what all these sports are doing. Like, these sports are getting soft. It's like, no, they're not. They're not getting soft. They're just changing the rules for the safety of the performer. You got Chris Benoit out here with a million concussions, killing his family and himself. You got football players. They made a damn movie about it with Will Smith with the CTE and the concussions, and they're going crazy in their heads because helmet to helmet and all these late hits and stuff that everyone thought was like, oh, he smoked him, this is great. No, we can still play the game, but we can change the game a little bit so that it's safer for the athletes. Why did we change professional wrestling so it was more dangerous? I'm like, what the fuck? All these other sports have changed the game. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, everything. has changed the game and some rules so it's safer for the athletes so they don't die or kill somebody or go absolutely crazy. And then here we are in pro wrestling. We're like, yeah, just dump him on his head. Let's get more risky. No, let's bring pro wrestling back. Sorry for that really long rant. I was excited about what I saw in professional wrestling. Maybe it's WrestleMania season. I don't know, but it was a good week of pro wrestling.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I saw clips of the Bron Breakker and Adam Pearce thing just when he grabbed him and turned him around and, was kind of putting him in the corner or whatever. And just the way that you're talking about it from the kind of the fans' perspective reminds me of what we were just talking about with the Steve Austin on Chris Van Vliet. It's like, I need someone to feel dangerous, right? And obviously that is exactly what he's talking about. You want that loose cannon. You want the unpredictability. You want that in pro wrestling where you go, you never know what's going to happen, right? You think that it's like, oh, here's the limitations and the constraints of what these performers can do. And then this goes completely outside of that where you go, oh, shit, what's going on? Because even me, pro wrestler mind was caught off guard and going, oh shit, what the fuck is he doing? He's taking this too far, right? So that's definitely something where you go, okay, well now this guy feels dangerous, right? And it goes back to when Brock Lesnar came back after having a successful UFC career, right? And he's just destroying people, but it's like, well, fuck, man. Who's going to stop this guy? Like, he's taking it too far, like busting Randy Orton open with elbow strikes and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, fucking take it easy, man. You're taking the realism too far, right? So, but that was the feel you got, man. This guy's dangerous. This guy is just, he's going outside of the lines. He's blurring the lines a bit, where you go, fuck, dude. Is he really taking liberties on these guys? What can they do to stop him from doing that? You think about suspensions and all this different stuff, but man, obviously the realism is cranked up, man, to 11, as they say. So yeah, that's a good thing to see, man.
Well, you think of danger in Northern California professional wrestling, right? I remember a shot that still echoes through today, and I believe it was Jack Flag, aka Christian Sky, stands up at the St. Peter's Hall for SPW, and he stands up as a fan, and Big Ugly throws that chair right into his fucking face. You know what I mean? I remember Aaron Sky in the same building wrestling JR Kratos for the championship, and the bell rings. And Sky comes running out, and Kratos knocks him out with one punch. And you think the match is over, but he kicks out at the last second. I personally thought he should have beat him just like that, Surprise us. Oliver John, very dangerous with things he says. I mean, you worked with Bradley Rotten. That guy was unpredictable. You didn't know what he was going to say. We bounced back to, you just got that promo from Bishop. And he said ass, but he definitely kept the fuck bombs off of that. And I don't think he should keep the fuck bombs off of that. Like, here's Big Ugly's kid, Titus, you know what I mean? Titus and Salem's little brother, and he's all grown up, but he's not grown up yet. And here's this 16, 17-year-old kid, adolescent, saying, you're a fucking pussy. I'll beat your fucking ass. And you're like, whoa. Honestly, that could lead into a storyline with a promoter or somebody where they're talking to the dad, aka Big Ugly, who can still wrestle, and say, what are you doing, dude? Did you not teach your kid any etiquette? He's out here cussing on my show, driving fans away. And that could lead to a realistic angle, man. Something that just, please, man, make me believe something. I don't want to see a wrestler come out and rip someone's sign up or throw, Lee Profetto does it all the time, and I wish he wouldn't. He always grabs the guy's hat and chucks it back into the 10th row, and he does it so nonchalant. Every time I see it, I'm like, someone's going to beat his fucking ass. So he's going to grab somebody's fucking $50 fucking New Era custom hat one day and just chuck it off, and as he's going, well, just bam, the dude it's going to be the wrong guy. I see Brandon Nash, I seen Brandon Nash at your show come out and getting, I think you might have known the guy, but right in the front row got in his face, and I'm looking at the guy's calves, and when the guy stood up, I was like, Jesus Christ, he's like 3 of them. Like maybe that was the wrong person to get in their face, and that's what I love about Brandon Nash. I love that Brandon Nash, what you see is what you get, and he's going to come out and he's going to get in your face. I remember I didn't see the scene until later, but when that lady slapped him in the face, the like hillbilly boyfriend jumped up too, and security had to get in the way, and it was like he wanted to fight him. And that's not the first person I've seen wanting to fight Brandon Nash, and Sergio's the same way, man. They're calling him everything but a Hispanic man when they're in their face, and a lot of times it's ladies too with Sergio. So I mean, that's dangerous. That's the danger we're talking about. Take a chance. And Bron Breakker, man, Goldberg, Edge, whoever the hell else you want to throw out there, that guy, he has made the spear dangerous. Goldberg got it over. Edge made it, a move, the move that people like, boom, and everyone else does. But this guy with the speed and the velocity and the intensity, he's cutting you in half. You're not getting up. So, yeah, man, let's make me wonder a little bit. When I first got in the business and I went to the Legend shows in Antioch and Deer Valley High down there, Joe Applebaum came out the curtain to wrestle my coach Skitz, and Skitz was he was wild as shit. But Joe Applebaum, even though I knew Joe, I backed up from the guardrail because I didn't know. He made me believe that he might fucking rip me over the guardrail and knock my teeth out of my mouth.
Right, and that's what you need. And I think that's funny because people say the same thing about me. Like, well, I know you in person, right? So I know you won't, do something crazy. But in the moment when you're coming out there and you're this huge person and you're intense and things like that, I question that, right? And that's really all we want, man. We want people to go, just like you said about Joe. I know this guy, I don't think he would do that, but you never know, man. You flip the switch when you're in character and things happen, right? You extend, you cross the lines a little bit every once in a while because you want to keep that line blurred, and you want to keep the fans thinking like, I don't know what this guy is capable of, like I think I do, but I don't know for sure, and I don't want to take the chance of testing that and finding out for sure what the consequences potentially could be. But man, when you think about Bron Breakker and the spear, because it is so impactful, and is because it is very much like a full speed football tackle. You're talking about the things they're trying to clean up in the NFL to keep guys safe. But this is the high speed, high impact stuff that that excites people. And now Bron Breakker is using that as a tool where you go, fuck, man, if this guy gets ahead of steam, and you think about what was that? I Show Speed, I don't know what that event was, but when he fucking basically blindsided that dude and knocked him fucking senseless.
Royal Rumble,
yeah, like fuck, man, like that's just like, and how much coverage, and how much you saw that on clips everywhere, right? It just was fucking viral. everywhere. You're like, dude, look at this guy getting fucking torn in half. Well, that's what happens when you get in the ring with a pro wrestler and you think this is all a game, right? So,
well, you remember everyone was like, it was the King of the Ring promo for Austin, right? Like it was the put a button on the promo. He's like, Austin 316 says, I just whipped your ass, and that's the bottom line. But what did it for me was going into WrestleMania 14 in Boston, Austin and Michaels, was his attitude going in there with the Mike Tyson thing. And then there was a press conference afterwards, and Vince went to hand him the belt, and he like took the belt and he's like, oh, get out of my face, Vince. You're the boss, but you son of a bitch. And like Vince's reaction the first month towards Steve Austin when that started was hilarious. Like he's like, you know what I mean? Like he would look at it. Austin would say something fucked up to him, and Vince would go, like all his other employees, like, watch yourself. And Austin would be like, what are you looking all smug for? I ain't listening to a goddamn thing you say, Vince. Shut your little mealy mouth up. And Vince would walk away and be like, I'll try to be all professional again at the press conferences. He'd be like, well, that was, Steve must be excited right now, and we'll have a talk about this later. And then he comes out to present him with his new belt on Raw, and Austin looks at the Winged Eagle and grabs his new belt and drops the Winged Eagle on Vince's fucking foot, and he's hobbling around the ring. And that's where it all started, was Vince still trying to be that guy. And we talked about it on here before. All this whole attitude era, like it all came from Bret Hart. It was Bret Hart talking shit to Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon and dragging him over with the Raw's war leather jacket after the cage, dragging him over the table. Like Bret lit he took the match and he lit it and he threw it on the gasoline, and then it started burning. And then once it started burning at the pinnacle, Austin said, all right, now I'm coming in, you son of a bitch. And that's what I mean by take a chance. Like, take a chance, guys. I tell Bad News Blakesley all the time, hey man, there's nobody that can pick you up. I could probably name 10 wrestlers, Lex Luger, R.I.P. Ahmed Johnson, maybe Ultimate Warrior, maybe a Dino Bravo, a fucking Big Show, a Brock Lesnar, John Cena. Like there's probably, maybe on the indies, nobody, but there's probably a select handful. And if I say 2 handfuls, 20 guys in the history of wrestling that could actually pick Bad News up and give him a body slam, a suplex, a fireman's, one guy is what I mean. And it's like, dude, take a chance on yourself. You look different than everybody else. You're not the normal. You are special. And all you have to do is stand in the fucking ring and slobber all over the place and go, and beat the shit out of people and sell a little bit. And you're going to be a big star in the business. And then you get these guys and they try to do, they're like, man, I'm tired of being this big, or I want to try. Hey, brother, I'm going to tell you right now. I tell him all the time, I wish I was you with my mindset. Because I wouldn't have to worry about trying to go the top rope and doing a fog flash. Oh, look at me. I'm the Hurricane Wanna counter a styled class. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to do that stuff. You can just stand in the ring and everyone goes, it's cool that you get clotheslined over the top backwards and take superplexes and shit. I'm glad you're an athlete. But the reality of it is, unless the guy's matched up in yourself, you don't need to do that. Why would Big Paul do that shit?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I guess it's one of those things that where you, I don't know, like I guess for me it's very much like I want to be able to do all this stuff. And I just saw Super Beast talking about that as well. Somebody said something about like, what's the worst advice that you've ever gotten? And someone said, and he said something along those lines, like people said, just stand in the center and kick the shit out of people and don't do these, spinning wheel kicks and things like that. So, it just goes to show you that people want to have those, impressive moments, right? You want to be the, Bronson Reed, obviously, going to come off the top rope with that tsunami splash, right? You have those guys. And I knew you hear Big Show back in the day saying that, oh, I can do all these things. I could do the top rope drop kick and all this different stuff. And people had to sit him down and go, hey, dumb fuck, listen, here's what you should be doing. You're a fucking monster. You should just be standing in the center and fucking destroying people, right? You don't need to do all this high risk, potentially hurting yourself stuff, right? You are the largest athlete in pro wrestling, and you should act like that. So, but it's just, obviously, I get caught up in the same thing, man. I want to do athletically impressive feats, right? So I don't know. And it's one of those things where, you think about a Keith Lee and some of these big guys that are super agile. They want to show off, man. That you get caught up in it, man. You want to show off. You want to show how athletic you can be, right? And you want people to go, oh my goodness, did you see that big guy do that crazy stuff, right? So we get caught up in it sometimes. And sometimes we just need to realize, man, you need to be that guy that the immovable object, right? So it's tough, man. It's the mindset.
Story of my life. That's a guy that runs at the beat of his own drum. Oh, Chris Crody, Super Beast, man. If he's ever out there watching, what's up, Chris Crody? You know what I love about Chris? He has never shied away from telling somebody to fuck off.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and if you got a problem, he's like, oh, just whatever. Let's meet up. I'll beat the fucking shit out of you.
Right.
It reminds me, like, Brandon Humphrey was the same way. Like, Brandon would just, he didn't care if there was 2 of you, 3 of you. If you were all 3 talking shit to him at one time, those guys are great, man, because it becomes where it's comical watching people who are never going to do nothing troll online and be a keyboard warrior. Then there's the guys that will. You know what I mean? I love the guys that will, because you always go, oh, man, I can say whatever I want to someone, and then somebody does it and someone pulls out a gun and blows a hole in your face. And then you go, oh, what? I didn't think that guy would kill me. And it's like, yeah, because there's a lot of them out there that, you know what I mean? They're just not CEOs of businesses. You know what I mean? They're not working on it. They'll beat the fucking shit out of you on the side of the building. Where people think the business has changed. Maybe they think it has, but this business hasn't changed very much. Because I'll tell you this much. It wasn't very long ago that Vince McMahon was shitting on interns' heads, and him and Laurinaitis were, and Brock Lesnar wanted to piss on people, piss on women, and they were throwing, this has been going on for a long time, and they say there's a change in the business, and maybe there is a change in the business, but the business is worse off now than it's ever been, because now everybody in the business is dating somebody else in the business. You know what I mean? It's like your business is the business, and it's inside the business. And I get it. I've told people, other wrestlers before, like, hey, man, you're having a relationship problem. Get with someone in the business, because they're going to be on the road with you and stuff. But that can also hinder you. It can hinder you if your partner, whether it's male, female, or the old typical male-female crossover. It's if you're dating a girl in the wrestling business and she gets lazy, you're gonna get lazy too, and vice versa. If the man gets lazy, he can drag the girl down, and if the girl gets a contract, and the guy can't go with her to hang out with her in the WWE or AEW locker room, not only can that pull strings, like separate these guys in a jealousy thing, but there could be a bigger talent, and I've seen it a million times, a bigger talent in the locker room that goes, look at that girl. Or there could be a girl in the locker room at a bigger talent that goes, look at that young man right there. You know what I mean? The old Sunny Tammy Lynn Sitch thing. I mean, she was with Mitch Valentine. There's a name. ringing in the ears. Old Mitch Brown, I remember he called me about that. He's like, I'm banging Sonny right now in the motel. And I was like, bullshit. He's like, here, I'll let you talk to her. And he puts her on the phone and she talks. And I go, I think that's Sonny. And I go, Mr. Primetime MPT, PCW, NorCal. You know, I start shooting like, go check it out. Go check it out. It is you. And you're in the room with this guy. I can't believe it. Anything can happen. You know, it's like Vince McMahon said, anything can happen in the WWF.
Oh, crazy stories, man. But definitely, oh man, it's a great point, man. It's one of those deals where, you know, it can be great where you're dating someone who knows what the lifestyle's like, right? So maybe there's no like, you know, oh, I mean, I can't believe that you're gone for several days in a row. It's like, yeah, you understand what it's like to be gone for several days in a row, and you know, having to you know, get done with the show and hit the road and drive 5 hours down the road to the next town and all those things, and how time consuming that can be. And you know, oh, you didn't call me last night to check in. It's like, fuck, man, I'm busy. So you find somebody else that's in the business. They understand how things work. So definitely, you know, there's definitely some benefits from it, and just like you said, man, there's definitely some downfalls, right? You guys, you know, you get complacent sometimes. You go, well, I've made it, I'm under contract, and you start slacking off a little bit. You know, and I think that's why you look at a Matt Cardona and you go, well, shit, man, this guy had a big run in WWE and then got released and was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it bigger, right? I'm gonna get on the indies and I'm gonna bust my ass and I'm gonna always, you know, stay in shape and always have great gear and all the things that you preach to these young guys, right? Hey, take care of yourself, have great gear, you know, keep pushing, man. Get out there and get booked and work with guys that can help you get better and take chances. You know, you say all these things, and you know, I just listened to him talking about all these different things. You know, it's like, you know, I went out there, I got released, and then, you know, just talking about like, you know, the death match thing where he's just like, fuck, you know, I've never done that before, but you know, it's an opportunity to kind of to create a buzz. And I think that was his big thing was, how can I create a buzz so there's eyes on me, you know? And I've heard him, you know, on several different podcasts and things like that. It's like, you know, I have to be my own biggest promoter because, you know, I don't have the machine behind me. If I take a week off, the WWE is still going to be talking about me. It's like if there's a day off that I take talking about myself, you know, I could become irrelevant at some point. So, you know, that's always the thing that you got to think about is, you know, I got to keep the name out there. So people constantly are seeing it and they never forget about what's going on. So, you know, I think we think about that as promoters, you know, trying to keep your name out there so you don't have the people that say, oh shit, I didn't even know there was wrestling in, you know, fill in the blank town.
Yeah. Cody, Matt Cardona. I don't think Karrion Kross has done as much as those guys, Cody or Matt Cardona, when they left and branding themselves. And one of the other names that just has done a phenomenal job of branding herself was Shotzi Blackheart. Like when she left, everyone kept going, Shotzi's coming back to Northern California and maybe we can get her on our show. Nah, Shotzi, she wasn't playing around. Oh, Ashley wasn't playing around. She was like, no, I'm going big with this. I'm going to do death matches with Matt Cardona and I'm going to be on all these shows and I'm going to work even harder, because she could have just kept getting the paycheck, what I call the old Fandango paycheck. You know what I mean? Because they were putting her out there for Halloween Havoc, spin the wheel, and to do like things like that. But she wanted to, you know, that's probably why she got released, because she kept asking, I want to do more. I want to do more. I want to do more. And they're probably like, who the fuck is this bothering us and pestering us now about wanting more? Like, how long has she been here? you know? And I don't mean maybe like nobody. I'm pretty sure the roster knew, but when TKO takes over and stuff like that, they don't know who that is. And she left there and was like, oh, guess what? I want to get my tank. And if I can't get my tank from WWE, she's just she's done a really good job of like, and that's the Cody Rhodes thing. That's the Matt Cardona thing. We're leaving, we're away from the big company. What can we do with ourselves right now? And a lot of guys don't know how to do it. They think they do because they think coming off of WWE, they're like, oh man, I'm a big star. I was on TV. Well, you're not too big a star because you're not there no more. And I mean, I never signed a contract to be there either myself, you know, no matter how I look at it or what I tell myself. But the thing is, you have to know what your value is. And if you're not a mainstream star, when you leave, you have to take that little bit of buzz you have from TV and you got to make it an even bigger buzz away from that machine of WWE and TKO Endeavor. So you got to give Cardona, you got to give Shotzi, you got to give, look at Cody Rhodes, but you got to give those guys props, man, because she's hot right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that's the way that you need to do it. And this is, you know, you think about the guys on the smaller scale right now. You think about like the Nick Night Train type guys that are constantly trying to get out there and get seen by another company, right? Like, oh, I'm going to go to this, you know, racking up states, man, and creating, you know, a lot of people go, oh, you're a wrestling whore or whatever. It's like, no, I'm out there fucking networking. I'm creating connections, you know, because you never know who you're going to cross paths with, where you go, where someone's looking for someone. Hey, I'm looking for this type of person. It's like, oh, well, this guy would be perfect. He's come through my promotion, hard worker, respectful, you know, wants to get better type of thing. Like, I think you could use this guy. So I don't know. You get people caught up in that, you know, and we always talk about it's jealousy, right? It's the people that are not willing to do that. So now you're going to talk shit about someone who is willing to do that, right? This guy's going to go out there, you know, a lot of time on their own dime, right? They're going to fly themselves somewhere so they can get seen, so they can network, you know. And this is investing in yourself, you know, just as much as these guys that are going and you know, staying relevant with up-to-date gear, and they're going to the gym and they're investing in tanning and they're doing all the things, you know, maybe non-monetary investments to keep themselves in shape and things like that. But it's those things that are going to get people a little bit further, and you're going to network with more people, and more people are going to be familiar with you, and you're going to have more opportunities as a result, you know, down the road, where they go, hey, this guy's driven, let's bring him in, and they'll and you get more out of it. So definitely, you know, a good example to follow. Obviously, it doesn't go without, you know, going places where you're going to get better and learn and things like that, and be open to that. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to fly myself to all these different promotions and work for free and all that stuff. You have to be, you know, there has to be a plan in place where, you know, I'm going and I'm going to try to get in someone's ear and, hey, can you watch my match and give me some feedback? And I want to get better, right? And then the next time that person sees you, hopefully you've done something that they critiqued you on, and you have gotten better. So that's definitely the goal.
Yeah. Well, Night Train, Nick Night Train, sense of urgency. That's what it is. It was a sense of urgency. He's older, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying he's old, but he's older. He started a little bit later than, you know, one would start, and he's out there doing his thing, man. And you got to respect the guy who's out there doing his thing. A lot of people are out here traveling locally, like within the realm of this area, and he's out there. But that's what his coach Samurai was always doing. You know what I mean? Like he was He might have. How many states did Josh wrestle in? Do you remember where he was at on the?
I don't remember what the total was, but I mean, I know that it had to be, probably well over a dozen states. Maybe,
I thought he was in the
deep in.
20s.
Yeah, I was to say maybe deep into the 20s.
He had a goal. That was a very unfortunate because I think his goal was to hit all 50 states, no matter
of course.
how that's a crazy goal, man. Like that's a really driven guy right there. Samurai, right. Really driven guy. I talked to him at the Ugly Dojo show. What's up? How you doing? But I asked him like, how are you really doing? And I asked him if he's been able to run, or if he's just walking those marathons and able to run. And I always love his answers too, because they're like, well, I'm doing what the doctor thinks right now. You know what I mean? But you can see it in his eyes. He's like, I'm going to run a fucking marathon. I'm going to do one more Ironman, and no pun intended, even if it kills him, you know what I mean? And I always tell everyone, I'm like, fuck, if I drop down in that ring, just let me go.
Right.
Because what are you going to do? If it's over, you're going to get me to the hospital and hook me up. Let me go right there. Drag me to the locker room. Fucking pour some gasoline on me. Light me on fire. Put it out. Scoop up my ashes. When the show's over, chuck them on top of the canvas. And then roll that thing up like a military flag and fucking go up to my dad or my brother and say, here you go. And then who's ever running my company after that can be like, all right, well, we need another $300-400 black canvas because Zach's rolled up in this motherfucker right here. We can't use that one anymore. But like, what do you want to do? You want to be hooked to tubes and wires praying in the hospital while everyone watches over you? No, man. It's there. Here's where I'm happy, right? I already made that decision when we came back from the pandemic, and thought I was going to die the whole time. I was like 10 days cold turkey on my first run from like 6 years of alcoholism, and it was hot. It was like 120 degrees, and I kept thinking I was going to die. Like really felt like I was going to die, just detox and trimmer. But the weird thing was, every time I went out for 3 matches that night, every time I walked out the curtain to wrestle, it all went away. So it's like, man, that's obviously my happy place, man. So Roddy Piper said it, man. He said, we have a disease, right? We got a damn disease, and we just can't stop. As much as we say I want to retire, John Cena said it, and I heard AJ Styles say it, and it really hit hard to me. AJ Styles said, I think he said it to Undertaker. He said, I don't want to retire because of injury or I'm forced to retire. I want to retire on my own 2 feet, still healthy. He said, because that's why we get in the business, right? Like you get in the business to make your money and a living, and then go out when you want to go out, and you can walk and talk and do all these things and still live the quality of life still is there, man. You can still play with the kids. I used to tell that to Rick all the time. I'm like, fuck, dude, you gonna be able to play with your kids in 5 years, man? Because you put about 500 knee pads and wraps on your knees, and now you're walking around like the you're walking around like the fucking Marlboro man, and you need the handrail to get up the fuck, we were at a Comic-Con one time, and some large lady came. He's walking up the thing with the handrail. I'm right behind him, and she like passes us by and like bumps into us and looks at us like, get the fuck out of my way. And I'm like, damn. And that's what I'd always do to Rick too. He'd be like, is this the men's bathroom? And I'd be like, no, it's that one over there. And I'd send him, like in those big stadiums or big buildings, arenas, I would send him to the girls' bathroom because he can't see. And then he'd come out and be like, you motherfucker. And I'd be like, and that was my laugh at him. Yeah, unisex me now.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you just think about in life, you put it in the pro wrestling perspective, but in life, the goal is to get a job, work that job until you're able to retire, and then retire and go about your life, right? So, AJ Styles obviously, looks at it, the working man type thing, right? I'm going to work this job. I'm going to make my money. and then I'm going to retire when it's time, right? And obviously, you want it to be, on your own. You want to be able to make that decision on your own that I'm going to retire. It's time. Most times it's you're 62, you're 65, whatever it is, depending on what type of work you're in. You have a lot of the high end stressful jobs. The firefighters and the police officers, they might put in 20-25 years, and then they have the opportunity to retire. You got teachers retiring at after 30 years. So just whatever you're in, obviously you'd like to do the best you can for those years, and then you'd like to have the opportunity to retire and enjoy all the hard work that you've put in. So obviously that's what he's looking to do. And but like you said, man, it's a disease, man. You say you're ready to retire. I mean, I remember, I don't know how long ago it was. It had to be 10 plus years ago that I said, man, I think I'm done, man. I don't think I can keep up with these guys anymore. And then me and Ryan McQueen had a fucking, a banger, as you call them. And it was just like, fuck, man, I guess I can keep up. This is fun. I love this, and I get those constant reminders. You get in the ring and then you have the reminder of like, oh, fuck, I remember why I love this. This is why I'm doing this. This is my happy place, right? I love doing this. I have fun talking about it. I enjoy the company, all that stuff, man. So you find those things that you really enjoy, and it's hard to step away. And then you realize that's why the Terry Funks, the Ric Flairs, all these guys, it's like, they say they're retiring, but then you just see, man, they fucking miss it. And whatever the circumstances is, if it's a money thing, if it's a missing pro wrestling thing, they come back, right? And they're back at it. So
I work to live. I don't live to work, man. I heard an old man who used to, Joe Saylor was his name. He used to walk around the plant with fucking tall cans at like 60, big old 6'5" cowboy, and he'd walk around with them stuffed in his Wranglers. And you'd be like, "Where are you going, Joe?" He goes, "Blossoms. I'm heading over to the pit spot to slam this tall can." And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, Joe?" And he'd be like, "I'll tell you what, Zach." He goes, "I work to live. I don't live to work." And he'd come back and then every day the roach coach, the lunch truck would come, and he, after like 3-4 hours of work, and he would go over there after drinking, probably from 5 a.m. to 9 o'clock or lunch, whatever. He'd drink about 6-7 tall cans. And then when the roach coach came, he'd look at the boss, Woody, and he'd do that number, and the roach coach would give him a ride home. And we still had 5-6 hours of work. And you knew Joe wasn't going to hang around for a full day. And if he did, you'd go up and be like, "Are you okay, Joe?" Or someone here must have a few brews or a bottle of Jack Daniels and giving you a ride home. So, he said, "I work to live. I don't live to work." And I was like, that is it right there, brother. You can't beat that statement, because that's where it at. But I mean, that's what we do. It's like, Ollie, do I think Oliver John can get in the ring and compete with everybody right now? Oh, I do. I think better than everybody right now. He's got a lot left to give, but it's like he's giving it in the way he wants to give it right now. And that guy loves pro wrestling, but that guy doesn't love like modern pro wrestling. That guy loves fucking pro wrestling, man. So when you hear him talk and stuff, it's foreign to a lot of these new kids. I was listening to our boy down under, Damian Slater, talking one of his things like, are these people just not showing the physicality and everything else of pro wrestling, like the technical and the basics and fundamentals and how to counter and tighten up and and it's like, no, they're not. I was going to respond to the post, but it was like, no, Damian, they're not showing them this shit, no matter where you go. Because it's not that they're missing showing them this shit. The generation of trainers coming in now, unless you get an older head, they don't know it. Even if you get a good amateur, they don't know it.
5-knuckle shuffle.
Yeah, they just don't know it, man. You know, we got Carson City coming up this weekend. Friday, I'll be down at the Jack Rabbit with the sours and the ales and the lagers and some really good pistachios that Michelle Reno got me last time, man. I'm gobbling those pistachios down. But we got the Jack Rabbit Ugly Dojo. Come check out my boy Ethan Reno on Friday night. I believe the doors open at 6:30 and the show starts at 7. But then gonna be a long night, and then we hop in a car. It's gonna be me, Propane, Sergio, Ethan. I'm pretty sure maybe the other car, like I said, is gonna be Shaq Sin and Jalen, and I know Maple Gramps is coming down, and you know your resident MILF Hunter will be there. And we're coming on down to Carson City. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, Paul. They tried to gyp us last time, but that really good barbecue place, what's that one called?
Those Reds 395.
Reds 395 owes us a fucking cake size cut of that honey cornbread. And Daddy Zach's coming for it, baby. You tried to trick me last time, and I said, "Where's my fucking cornbread?" And Reno's like, "Yeah, where's the cornbread?" And I'm like, "Hey, where's our cornbread?" Like, "Oh, we ran out." And I'm like, "And you just thought you could get away with not giving us anything for it?" And they're like, "We'll give you another side," which great place, but you owe me a slab of cornbread, and I'm coming for it, big time. Reds 395. Mother freakers, Zach Primetime Reeb coming for that cornbread, and I'm coming to Crescent City. And one thing I'm excited about for Crescent City, out of everything that's going on, I'm ready for Kid Carson and Cade Adams, the two Carson City boys going at it in their hometown. You know what? I hope you guys went out there and sold some damn tickets. We got the seminar coming up beforehand. Yeah, just a lot going on this weekend, man. And then the next weekend we got Limelight at the Tri-Counties Community Center in Marysville. I got a great lineup on this one, man, with nonstop shows. And then the next night we got John Cooper return. The WCWF returns to the WCWF arena with Redemption. So, Jesus, 4 shows in back-to-back weekends. It's Thursday training, show, Sunday training, Thursday training, show, Sunday training. So we're getting moving here. And I'll let you close this out and promote a little bit and not be such a hog.
Oh, of course, man. So obviously we know we're gonna go for a couple hours before our show at the training seminar, and obviously I'm excited about that, and hopefully these guys learn some stuff, put it into place, put it into use. So we've got Carson City, Nevada. We got that show at 3:00 on Saturday the 17th, which will be, as this releases, it will be tomorrow. 3:00 in Carson City. Should be awesome, man. I think it's gonna be, it's gonna be a great card, man. I think you got the two Carson City guys. You got the 2 young kids going at it, Reno and Bishop Dorian. I think it's just gonna be great, man. It's gonna be a good showing, and hopefully we get the turnout that we got last time, man. Maybe bigger. So that would be awesome if we can get that done. Yeah, man. So exciting, man. And obviously you got a shit ton of stuff going on, so good stuff, man.
Let me try this. Tonight, catch us at the Jack Rabbit in West Sacramento for the Ugly Dojo. And tomorrow, doors open at 2:30, 3 p.m. for the Capital City Clash. Am I right about that?
That's it, man. You nailed it.
Okay. Nailed it. Oh, and by the way, I put it in my group about the training. Don't forget in your group for the show to throw in there about the training and what time, so everybody there knows to be there. Let's get going. Hey, do us a favor. We dropped down to $2.99. I don't know what's wrong with you. Maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe Paul smells like shit and my armpits need a little deodorant, but go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help us out. You know why? Because I saw a comment. Fucking Oliver John told you to.